for the record, as board is aware, the town sent the board a letter back in November. Board of Supervisors reviewed that letter, provided a comment back to the town in January, and the town just yesterday sent a letter back, which is attached to board docs. All three letters are attached to board docs for public consumption. That the board discussed this earlier. You've just received this. You haven't digested it. That's my recommendation, to have the item on the agenda so all these documents could be shared with the public and be captured on this meeting agenda for the future. I didn't really consider that you might do anything else unless you want to do something else.
And Madam Chair, this is Keir Whitson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this afternoon, several members of the public spoke during the public comment period about what they read in the paper. One person even said that in our suggestion that, there could be some exchange of something with the town for the boundary line adjustment, that amounted to a form of extortion. I just wanted to provide some context. Back last January 2021, the property owner and his attorney came to the Board of Supervisors. The property owner's attorney, Mr. Foote, stood in front of the Board of Supervisors and actually articulated a number of possible offers that that they had already discussed with the town in the context of a contemplated boundary line adjustment. Then in, I think, August of last year, Mr. Foote, the property owner's attorney, sent a draft boundary line adjustment agreement to our board. And in that draft agreement, there were specific offers of removal of deed restrictions on properties in the town and other things. So I just want the public to understand that when I or anyone else suggests that maybe there would be something to exchange as part of this agreement, that didn't come out of nowhere. That whole idea, that concept of exchange for the boundary line adjustment began with the property owner and his attorney coming before the Board of Supervisors, and in a draft boundary line adjustment agreement that they later disseminated to us in the middle part of the last year. So at least in my case, when I raised the question of what the town might be willing to provide in exchange, it is strictly within the context of what the property owner and his attorney, presumably in consultation with the town, had already discussed with us, both verbally and in writing. So I just wanted to make that clear on the record that this wasn't us extorting anyone. This was us following up basically on some initial informal offers made to us when the idea was first brought before our board. Thank you.
Thank you. And if I'm reading this correctly, the property owner hasn't, it doesn't look like this letter provides anything from them specifically. So my hope is that we'll be receiving something from them as well. And that's as far as I think we need to go, unless there's more from other board members.
Well, by looking at this letter, again, Mr. Mayor Cleveland he's conflating misinformation with maybe just a general lack of knowledge on somebody's part of what's actually going down. It's your second paragraph. We want to reaffirm that the request for a boundary line adjustment, BLA, for the property at the corner of Warren Avenue and Route 211-522 came from the property owner, not the town. Like you, we are seeking to address that request by starting the process of review. They went far beyond that process on their part. They're asking us to agree to this boundary adjustment for the property owner, they say. And I think a very, very good question was brought up on one of the social media sites recently. If this is the precedent that they set by asking for a boundary adjustment to bring a property into the town because it's either a border property or it straddles the line, what are they going to do the next time when somebody with a much larger parcel wants to come into the town so that they can develop at a higher density than they're allowed to under the county ordinance? So this really sets a very bad precedent for the public language that they keep sending out, because it bypasses their planning process, initiated by the property owner. We're trying to work with the property owner to fulfill this request. That's not good zoning, that's not planning, that's, I don't know what you call that, besides, just not good. I can spend a lot of time on that and find some legal words that come to mind, but this is just, doesn't make any sense. And then, that's just the second paragraph. You can read on from there. And, I guess it's the first bullet point under with the fourth paragraph. By encouraging the prudent development of this small piece of land, the county could see an increase of 15,000 to 20,000 annual property tax revenue from land improvements. Whatever they build there, the county would see that same revenue stream. So this is something that the county already has. This is not something that they would be able to do. It's just, for whatever reason, the paper didn't quote me on it, but we've got a lot of people involved in this process that don't know what they're doing. And that's what I said. And I wish it had been said 2 or 3 weeks ago, but the paper's only got so much room that they can write now. I didn't send it to the young lady over here. But, that's the whole problem. We're dealing with like Mr. Whitson said, that offer of exchange was initiated by the property owner's attorney, right here in this room, and in a letter to the board both. You can get this and maybe get that. And now we're told that simply by asking for that and maybe some definitions on a little bit more or whatever, extortion? Excuse me? It's not extortion, it's called planning and zoning. Again, the question I'd like the town council and the mayor to answer is, what happens the next time you have a boundary property or overlapping property in the street? To rezone. That precedent.
And I don't think that this letter gives me the clarity on the extending wastewater services outside of the town, which is one of the major sticking points. I don't feel like that's really cleared up as we requested it.
They're already extending it past the boundaries. They're extending it to this courthouse complex. This is county property, not town. They're already doing that.
Well, that's a good point.
I don't know if they noticed that.
So, does anybody have any suggestions on, what we'd like to do? To me, the property owner and the attorney aren't in this conversation. I'm trying to figure out if it would make sense to invite them to
I don't see any point in us spending much time on this. When they're ready to do something, they can come forward. I think we've got a lot of stuff on our plate, and I think this really should be. This is really a distraction right now for us. We've got all these buildings to work on. We've got the broadband issue that the broadband authority is working on, and the board of supervisors is working hopefully in conjunction with them. And the zoning ordinance, we just talked about that. We've got the definitions that we've got to work on to try and have some sort of harmonious atmosphere in the county with these small commercial enterprises. We've got a lot of stuff on our plate, and I think this is just serving as a distraction right now. I think once they know what our position is, I think let them move forward.
Well, and we're also approaching budget season. I mean, for us, I know the county's administrator's been working on the budget for quite some time.
That's all
But
Mr.
we are really,
One more thing on this.
I mean, budget season is extra meetings and more work already, and really should be our focus for its duration. This letter says that we're waiting for additional documentation from the landowner and their attorney, and I suggest we wait for additional information.